I was looking for other means of not stopping to reflect, not stopping to really sit with my own thoughts and feelings and you know, invite the sort of darkness that might have invited. When lockdown forced me to do that, and there was no longer the option to distract myself by kind of being out and working and stretching myself, I just sort of had no other choice other than to get depressed or really kind of start to love everything about that kind of more restful, leisurely life and celebrate it. And one of the things I started to do was boast about it more. So which I think is really important. I stopped that sort of awful habit of kind of slightly showing off or humble bragging when people ask me how I was, saying really busy, great, really busy, right? And it's awful. And I've been guilty of doing that, which has probably had a bad effect on other people's mental health. People doing it to me when I've been through bad periods of mental health. It just was so bad, that whole kind of how busy are you stuff, you know? And it's like now I will boast about, I will say, I will make a point of saying, great, it's been great. I haven't been busy at all. I've had 3 separate naps this week, one of which was well over an hour, so it was effectively asleep. And I just like to boast about it. I do it. It's funny, but I also do it because I sort of really want to make that, I want to remind myself that it's something to be proud of, that I am taking time to look after myself and devote some of my time to relaxation and pleasure. I need to remind myself that's something to be proud of, not ashamed of, because I would have actually been ashamed of rest for many, many years, as a lot of us are. And that's a real tragedy. And one of the things I say in the book, which again, I'm sure is something that you've talked about before, is, you know, why is it that the government will tell everyone that will listen that we have to eat 5 pieces of fruit or vegetables a day, right? But no one's ever given us any real guidance on how much we should be working. Because although I know there are laws, none of them in the industries that I worked in, none of them were observed. You're expecting to work for as long as it took. And there was like a culture of boasting about who'd worked the longest and who'd gone through the night and all of that. In every area of the media I worked in, that was the case. It was really encouraged, and it was all a massive scam. It was a terrible scam. And it really was, you know, caused a huge amount of ill health and pain for all of us, you know, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. It may still happen. I was talking to someone today actually in publishing, and I was asking her what it was like. And she said, I said, has it got better since lockdown? She said, no, it's got worse, because actually people were more productive working from home. And now we've gone back in the office, but they want that level of productivity to remain how it was during lockdown. And things are getting worse, which I was surprised by, because like I said, because I don't work in an office or anything, I'm quite naive about it. But she said it had got worse. And I think, why don't we have any government guidance to young people when they leave university or work, they go into the workplace? This is how much you should be working, and this is how much you should be resting. You know, even at schools now, my daughter's doing her GCSEs, it's the same thing. The school will never say, remember to get rest. What they say is, make sure you're studying 24/7 effectively. So I don't know, you will probably monitor this stuff more closely. I don't know if it's getting better, but I know it's a scam. And I also admit on the book, I've been on both sides of that lie. I've been on both sides of the lie. I've been the victim of it when I was working my way up in the industry. And then eventually when I got to a position where I was the boss, I was, without explicitly saying it, you subtly encourage people to think of working hard to a ridiculous extent over weekends and evenings and all the rest of it, and devoting your whole life to this job is something that you will be really admired for and that you should be proud of. And now I just try to boast about the opposite of that.
That is definitely the technique, the correct technique, isn't it?